Welcome back, students, to a new school year and another series of Promethean podcast. I am your host, Norah Schmitz. We are excited to be back, and there has been a lot of campus news so far in the last month. On September 14th, UW Superior welcomed Minnesota Governor and Democrat Vice President candidate Tim Walz as he held a rally to target swing states in the upcoming presidential election. The rally was held at the Markovich Wellness Center inside the Mertz Morelli Gym. With Wisconsin being a crucial swing state in the election, Walz spoke about the policies that he and Kamala Harris would enlist to benefit the American people. An estimated 1,400 people attended the rally at UW Superior. With us today is Isabella Lyste, right? That's how you say your name, sorry. A student at UW Superior who introduced Governor Walz at the rally. Welcome, Isabella. Thanks for being here. Can you talk a little bit about the day when Governor Walz came to campus and what was that preparation like?
Yeah, so Thursday afternoon, I was asked if I wanted to be a part of the rally, and honestly, I thought it was as a volunteer. I didn't think I would be speaking in any sort of capacity. And then from there, I ended up getting in contact with the WISDEMs who were the ones organizing the rally. And that night they were kind of like, hey, I'd love to hear your bio and see what you're all about. So I wrote up a quick bio and I didn't really know what they were looking for. I just kind of said I'm a history major here and I wanted to become a teacher in the future. And they thought that my story resembled Walz's. So they were like, hey, we would love it if you would come talk at the rally. And I'm like, sure, why not? It's an awesome opportunity. So they ended up having me send over my headshot and all those different things. And then Friday afternoon, they ended up sending over the speech that I would use. And where I got to tweak it just a little bit and change some things, and then got the final version of the speech Friday at 7, so I had less than 24 hours to prepare and speak.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. How did you feel about being selected? I know you kind of talked about that, but how did you feel about being selected to introduce Walz for his visit to his campus?
Honestly, I was shocked that I was selected, my story I didn't feel was super duper unique, but they saw, the resemblance in that we, Walz wanted to be a teacher, or was a teacher, and I wanted to be a teacher, and we both grew up in small towns and, had those small family values, so.
What do you think what impact do you think the Walz visit had on the UWS campus for students in the community?
I think it had a huge impact. People saw I saw a lot of UW students at the rally, which is really, really cool. And I think a lot of students just, thought it was really cool to have the opportunity to possibly meet the future Vice President of the United States, which is huge. And I also think having that personal connection is really big to students on campus. It kind of swings their vote.
Why is Jacket's Vote an important resource for students here?
Yeah, so we have an awesome resource on campus called Jacket's Vote, which is the nonpartisan voter engagement group here on campus. So they work to make sure everyone has the proper resources to get educated, get registered, and get out to vote. So they are there for any of your voting questions. The interns there are well-versed in both Minnesota and Wisconsin politics, but we always love learning about different states. And so they help make sure students are registered and get out to vote.
Well, that sounds really interesting. It sounds like it was a lot of work in such a short amount of time. Is there anything else that you think is important that we should know, or anything important that was left out from that day?
Yeah, honestly, it was just a really surreal and cool experience. I I got to the MWC, and they kind of escorted me to the front of the line, which I thought was crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. They were like, here's our VIPs. And then they put me in a room with other, VIPs, and I'm like, this is weird. Like, here's the Secretary of State of Wisconsin, and here's the mayor. Like, I'm wrapped in with all these people. And so, honestly, I was almost starstruck. And I was trying to, practice over my speech, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet the governor. And when he finally, we ended up going through a picture line, and when I finally met him, it was super duper cool, because he was like, hey, I've been hearing all the work you've been doing on campus and all the work you did back home, because I've done quite a few community projects back home, and it was honestly it was heartwarming, because
I bet.
Can't believe that he knew about what I've done, and it was so cool. And then getting to speak in front of everybody, it was exhilarating. There's this energy in the room that I wasn't expecting at all. I kind of got caught up in the moment and taken away, which was really, really unique, and we'll never forget that for sure.
Wow, well, that sounds like that's a really cool experience. Thank you, Isabella, for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sticking in politics, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers paid a visit to UWS on Monday, September 16th. Evers' visit to campus was part of his back-to-school tour of UW's system campuses, which highlighted his proposal to increase funding for state colleges and universities. Evers looks to raise the funds by a record of $850 million, making it the largest increase for the UW system in state history. If any student has questions about the upcoming election, Jackets Vote is an on-campus resource that can help. Jackets Vote can help students register to vote, where to vote, and what to expect on the ballot for this year's election. Jackets Vote is located at the Link Center in Swenson Hall, Suite 1061. In other news, UWS has seen a spike in total student enrollment from last fall, rising by 4%. According to a UW Superior News press release, the total number of students currently enrolled at UW Superior is 2,801. This is the largest number of total students enrollment at UWS since 2011. Over in the Holden Fine Arts Building, the Reimagining the Embrace of Nature art exhibit opened, which showcased the work of UW Superior faculty member Gloria Esslinger. Various plastics were collected and used for the artwork to create a message for the audience about pollution. That is all the time we have for news, but stick around for your Yellow Jacket sports update from the Promethean sports editor Isaiah Wiita.
Thank you, Norah. The month of September has been a big month for Yellow Jacket athletics. We start with an update on the Superior Choice Credit Union Stadium, as it is set to have its grand opening on October 11th and 12th. A ribbon-cutting ceremony will be on Friday, October 11th at 4:30 p.m. for the public. On Saturday, October 12th, the men's and women's soccer team will host Minnesota Morris for the first game at SCCU Stadium. The men's game will start at 1 p.m. and the women's game will start at 3:30 p.m. Over to the Esports Lab, where the UW Superior Esports team has kicked off its competition for the fall semester with new additions. The Esports team has put together 2 new Valorant teams. The 2 teams will join the inaugural team for the 2024-25 season. To the standings, the men's soccer team is in first place in the UNMAC with a 4-0 record in conference play. And for the women, they also are in first place in the UMAC with a 3-1 record in conference. To the hardwood, where the Yellow Jackets women volleyball team sit in second place in the UNMAC, 1 game behind North Central. That is the wrap-up for the sports and this episode of Promethean Podcast. Thank you for listening, and check out our website, uws-promethean.com, for the latest campus news.